What's up guys, Kool-Aid here. Today we are going to be talking all about Vassili, the one and only sniper merc from Dirty Bomb. And we're going to start off with the weapons. First of all, since he is a sniper, he is going to have 3 sniper rifles to pick from. 2 of them are going to be bolt action and 1 is going to be semi-automatic. First we'll talk about the bolt actions, compare them a little bit. They are very similar in the way they work. You know, a typical bolt action, you chamber around in between each shot, very slow rate of fire. However, the MOA Sniper 1 is going to do 75 damage to a body shot, and there is more than a ×2 head multiplier on there, so that will kill any class in the game or any merc in the game aside from Rhino with 1 headshot. Now the Fel-ix is going to do 79 damage per body shot, and again that will kill any class in the game with 1 headshot aside from Rhino, but it does have 4 more damage, which is pretty negligible. I mean, you should be going for headshots with these guns anyway. You really don't want to have to put 2 rounds in anybody, but if you do, very seldom is that extra 4 damage going to make much of a difference. The MOA Sniper 1, however, does carry 1 extra round per magazine, and that's basically the difference maker to me. They are so similar that 1 extra round goes, you know, I wouldn't say goes a long ways, but it's to me more advantageous than having 4 extra damage. Now when you start talking about the semi-auto sniper, the PDP-70, it is going to do 45 damage per body shot, and that does have a ×2 multiplier to do 90 damage per headshot, so that will actually one-hit kill some of the mercs in the games, you know, such as Proxy, Aura, the lower health, the faster mercs. It will actually take them down with 1 headshot, and that's pretty rare from a semi-automatic sniper in first-person shooters. And as somebody who always favors bolt-action sniper rifles over semi-auto sniper rifles in first-person shooters, I actually had a lot of fun and enjoyed my time using the PDP-70. I can definitely see its effectiveness and why some people would actually want to use it over the bolt actions. And I will talk a little bit more about that later when I talk about loadouts. Now, next I do want to talk about the sidearms. Vassili does have 3 sidearms available within his loadout cards. He has the Tolan MP, the MP400, and the Smooth and Wetzman 40. Now the first 2 I mentioned are very similar. They are machine pistols. The Tolan MP is going to do a little bit less damage than the MP400 at 9 damage per shot, whereas the MP400 is going to do 11, but is going to have a slightly higher rate of fire at 732 rounds per minute, where the MP400 is 632 rounds per minute, and then the Tolan MP is going to have 35 rounds per mag, where the MP400 is only going to have 30 rounds per mag. So they're very similar, and I wouldn't stress too much picking one over the other. Now my favorite, however, is that Smooth and Wetzman 40, because it is a heavy hitting, just badass piece of weaponry. It's basically doing the same damage as a lot of main weapons in the game. It's going to do 27 damage per shot. It only has 6 rounds per magazine, if you want to call the revolver a magazine, and it's only going to fire at 300 rounds per second. However, a well-placed headshot with one of these is going to do a ton of damage, and I always get in the mindset when I'm sniping to make my shots really count. So when I pull out my pistol, my sidearm, I want to do the same thing with that. It's just a mindset I've always had when I play snipers. As for the rest of Vassili's kit, he does have a heartbeat sensor that you can throw out. After a short period of time, it will start emitting a wave of energy that detects nearby enemies, and it will display them on your minimap as well as show them on your HUD. It will show them as a red triangle, and it will go through multiple levels. So if you throw one on the ground and there's somebody up above you, it will still show them. Incredibly useful tool. It also lasts about 15 or 16 seconds with a 20-second recharge, so you can have this up almost all the time. Also, with the introduction of Phantom, the cloaking merc, this tool became even more useful because it is the one thing that can bring Phantom out of stealth without actually having to do damage to them. So very useful tool. However, you do want to remember that this thing can be blown up, so you want to try to place it somewhere where it's going to be out of sight, out of mind, where it's not going to be it's not going to take collateral damage from an explosive. A lot of the times that's easier said than done, however. So that's pretty much it for Vassili's kit. Unlike a lot of mercs, he does only have 1 gadget or 1 ability to use, but it is a very powerful ability. So next I do want to talk about my suggested loadout for Vassili, the one that I always pretty much use. It's kind of my go-to unless I want to try playing around with different weapons. So the one I use is the MO93 Vanguard Sniper. It's going to come with the MOA Sniper 1 as your primary weapon, the Smooth and Wetsman 40 as your secondary, and the Cricket Bat as your melee weapon. Now, melee weapons are not anything I've really talked about too much because I think on Vassili they're not super important, and you're not going to want to play Vassili as a melee first type of class like you might do with some of the faster ones or with Phantom. So you just pretty much go with whatever one is on the loadout. So also with the Vanguard Sniper we have Unshakable, which is going to reduce damage you take from explosives by 20%. Not a big deal, but you know, a nice little feature. We're going to have the Tough perk or Tough augment, which reduces the delay until health regen starts by 33%. Again, not a huge deal, but a nice little augment there. And then the important one that we're getting out of this card, or this loadout card, is Focus, and this reduces flinching when hit while iron sighting or scoped by 50%. And I can't tell you how important that is when sniping. That's pretty much the main augment you should go for when playing Vassili. It really is probably the best augment you can get. Now that is just my favorite, my suggested loadout. If you don't like the MOA Sniper, if you prefer the Fel-ix or the PDP-70, you can definitely try out different loadouts, different loadout cards. You can actually get Focus, the Focus augment, with the Fel-ix or with the PDP-72. So whatever you're looking for, go ahead and try it out. If something else fits you better, by all means, go ahead. This is just a suggestion, just an opinion. There's no must-have loadout card, although Focus is pretty close. So anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is just a few tips on playing Vassili. If you've ever watched any of my previous games like Battlefield or PlanetSide 2, when I snipe, I'm incredibly aggressive. In this game, however, since it's almost 100% objective based and everybody's moving around extremely fast and jumping around, double, triple jumping, whatever, I play a little less aggressive in this game, I'll be honest. The maps in this are actually set up really, really well for an Overwatch type role, where you can just sit and watch the objective and take out enemies as they come near it. And I love doing that in this game. Now, keep in mind that the game has a lot of flanking routes, and typically once you kill somebody, they're going to know where you are. So after a couple kills, you're going to want to move around. You don't want to sit in that one spot unless you have a really, really good spot that's really well guarded. And also, to help against that, make sure you keep your motion sensor down, either near you or in a crowded area where it's going to help your teammates a little bit more. But if you are back sniping in that Overwatch position, try to keep it down by your feet. That way somebody like Phantom or just some other class can't sneak up behind you and get an easy kill. But one of my biggest tips for playing Vassili is don't be afraid to switch from Vassili to another class in the middle of a game. I've been in many, many games where we have 3, 4, 5 Vassilis on our team and nobody is moving up to cap the objective or advance to the map. And at that point, sure, you may be getting some kills, but nothing is getting accomplished. You don't have an engineer or medic on your team. Don't be afraid to switch. You can be much more useful as another class in those situations. So anyways, guys, that is all I have. If you have any comments, tips that I missed, any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.